Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. So before I go ahead and introduce my guests, I want to tell you how you can become a part of today's conversation. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line, if you want to bring up that graphic for me, please, producer. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. You can actually call us or message us on that WhatsApp line. We are streaming live on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages, on Facebook as well as on YouTube. You can catch us on the official channels. And you can also reach us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. Alternatively, you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. Of course, we are coming to you live by way of radio. The dial, the place to find us on the dial is 99.5 FM here in New Providence. And I want you to go ahead and bring in the studio guest, please. And a huge welcome to all of you coming in all the way from Grand Bahama or New Providence or anywhere throughout the family of islands. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for being a part of the show. All right, I'm having some technical challenges connecting to the internet, so we're going to have to try to make it through this with the one shot, and hopefully my technical challenges will work themselves out. All right, so I see where our guest Candy Gibson from Foam is here in the studio, and before I go ahead and let her speak, I just want to tell you guys what we're going to be talking about today. You would all be aware that the House was prorogued this past weekend. And for those of you who may not be familiar with our system, that means that everything that was left on the table uh, they start all over again when the House reconvenes with a new agenda in October. And one of the bills that was passed prior to the proroguing of Parliament was a bill that has created quite a bit of controversy, particularly from women's groups who are not happy because, well, at the time, they were saying that they were not given the due respect that they deserved as it relates to being heard um, concerning the contents of that bill, specifically as it relates to gender-based violence. Um, and I thought it was important for us to start this conversation today because in just a few days, next week, as a matter of fact, we're going to be welcoming women from all over the region for a major conference that is being held here and will be held here in the Bahamas for the next 3 years called WAM, WAMM. So before I go ahead and let Candy say hello, I'm going to play a clip. This is with the Minister of Social Services, Obi Woscom, welcoming persons to a press conference yesterday to talk about this upcoming conference. Go ahead and play that clip for me, please.
In Commonwealth Women's Affairs Ministers Meeting 13 WAM, under the theme Equality Toward a Common Future. 13 WAM will take place from August 21st to the 23rd at Atlantis Resort, Paradise Island. The WAM is held every 4 years in a Commonwealth country and provides ministers, senior officials, civil society, private sector, and partner agencies with an important opportunity to discuss critical issues in advancing gender equality and women's empowerment. As the host country, the Bahamas will assume chairmanship of WAM for the next 3 years. The theme of the 13 WAM is Equality Through a Common Future. It has been carefully chosen as the issues are relevant throughout the Commonwealth.
All right. So I see where our second guest is also logged in because many of the women's activist groups actually attended a meeting with the minister. I believe it was immediately following or prior to, I'm not sure, but around the same time as the press conference. And they had an opportunity to sit with the minister and express their concerns. But prior to that, we would have heard from the wife of the prime minister, who also had her say as it relates to this controversy that seemed to be brewing. Before we go to that clip, though, let me introduce my guests or allow them to introduce themselves. And I think the timing couldn't be better on this conversation. You know, when I first approached Candy about doing this show, the House had not been prorogued at that time. And yet we see where even based on news reports overnight, this conversation yet again is so vitally important. Also joining us is Janelle Burrows, who's going to be also speaking from the position of a women's activist. So ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michelle.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Pleasure to be here.
All right. So we know that this major conference is coming up next week, and you know it's all supposed to be about women's affairs and women empowerment and women in leadership and looking at gender-based violence. But yet we see where yet again there was a report in the news overnight of a gentleman reporting to the police that his 8-year-old daughter has been sexually assaulted by a neighbor, 8 years old. So while we are all excited about this conference coming up, ladies, I want to hear from you because I don't know if having another conference is going to put a dent in this problem that we seem to have in this country. Either one of you can chime in.
All right. Even though Candy is my senior, I just want to say thank you, Michelle. I'll go first. Child protection is an issue in this country that for generations has been swept under the rug and deprioritized by every successive government over the past 50 years. You can't speak about women, the protection and advancement and equity and equality of women without speaking about the protection of children, because obvious reasons. I don't have to explain that. So this country has painted a picture that we're all nice and rosy and have a bunch of beaches and sun and sea that will attract tourists. Meanwhile, they're allowing children, most of whom are probably disadvantaged or poorer, to be pimped out by people in their own family, to have incest happening with them. And just because the family doesn't want any limelight, you never hear anything about it. This is a country where we have a population of 400,000 people, but we, in the span of just a few years, it seems like every decade or so, there's a murder of a child, or a few children, because children are killed by stray bullets. Children are killed in instances where they're with other pairs in Camp Road playing on a park. And we have sat back quietly. Well, we haven't sat back quietly, but here's what the change is, Michelle and Candy. The change is we've gone from diplomatic about this issue to doing something about this issue. And demonstrating was the middle of the road. But now we can do something. If y'all don't want to listen to us and make child protection a priority and take our advice on what needs to happen legislatively, then we're going to find a way to get into that position to do it ourselves.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Candy, let's hear from you.
Piggyback on what Tania says, this year a child is killed. The following year after, a child is killed. This year, a couple children are molested. The following year, same trend, couple children are molested, and like Tania say, we paint this country as a country. Milk and honey. We have some situations going on, Miss Malcolm. That is so sad.
Candy, I'm not sure what happened, but all of a sudden your audio sort of dipped out on us.
That's someone's trying to call me. Sorry about that. And it's so sad now that it's almost like we become passive and immune to what's happening to the children in our country today. When the situation with Bella, everybody outraged, everybody's typewrite, Facebook gangster, all this and all that. Okay, that's it and that's all. When a couple of years ago was the guy killed those boys inside Freeport, everybody outraged. And after that, it's nothing. So at some point, we need to get with the lawmakers, or somebody, we need to be the lawmakers and make this happen, because at the end of the day, we have persons now riding around in their vehicle, prancing on our children and vanishing. And we have the night like nobody's business. A 9-year-old was molested a few weeks ago. And up to date, there's nobody in custody for that. And we could go on like it's nobody business. We could have a big conference held in the Bahamas like it's nobody business. Like that child don't matter.
Ladies, what do you think? I know that you all had some issues with regard to how the whole thing went down as it relates to the bill, the passage of the bill. And many of the women's groups thought that and expressed that they were not happy with the way that it was handled because they felt that their voices were not being adequately heard. And I know we have a clip that we're going to play in a minute or so with regard to what the minister had to say following your meeting. Were you both in attendance at that meeting? And if so, what were your takeaways as to whether or not you're satisfied with what took place?
Yes, we were there. You could go, Candy.
Okay. Yes, I was there. I want to say this. I support the bill. At the end of the day, if we have nothing to work with, then we have nothing to amend, nothing to take away, nothing to subtract, nothing to add. So I support the bill. I was glad we was able to come together yesterday and we was able to make recommendations for amendments. Like we always doing stuff, but we never include immigration. We now include foreign affairs in these matters because do bear in mind that we have people from different countries that live in the Bahamas that suffer from abuse and violence. And we need them to be a part of whatever bill we do. We have to now include them. Like I said again, we have to also include the Office of the Foreign Affairs. So I was glad to be there. I was glad to make recommendations and moving forward. I was even also glad to express a situation that I had experienced with a rape victim a few days ago. And I was not impressed at all. And so what I'm saying now, moving forward, like once they said that they're going to take what we said into consideration, and there might be room for amendment, I'm all prepared for it. I'm all for it. Someone to give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the diplomatic answer, Michelle. I'll give you the real answer. From my perspective,
Okay.
people like the Bahamas Crisis Center, Sandra Dean Patterson, Donna Nichols, and all their faithful volunteers who've been around for the past 40 plus years put their blood, sweat, and tears into being a part of the gender-based violence task force. And they came up over a couple of years back in 2015 with a strategic plan related to gender-based violence. And gender-based violence is simply sexual violence. Anything related to sexual violence. Anybody can be affected by it. So at the end of that period, this 100 or however many page report was submitted to the government. And I think they tabled it in Parliament, but we saw 2016, 2017 election, change of government, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 20. All these years later, nothing had been done. So good. Yeah, thanks. Y'all doing something about it a decade later? Cool. But you disrespected the Bahamas Crisis Center, even though they came back and said that they are in a favor with whatever was given. The rest of us, Equality Bahamas, Rise Bahamas, Foam Bahamas, but I can't speak for Foam, Candy's their stuff. Anyway, the rest of us, Marion Bethel and co, are not impressed that the government went and made their own adjustments to what was proposed without any proper stakeholder consultation, which should have included every group listed there and also Women United and others like that, Zonta, the Links program, all those people who have been doing work, advocacy, activism, and action on the ground for services to deal with and to help victims and survivors, children, women, and others of sexual abuse and things along that nature. So it was a slap in the face. And they said, take it or leave it, like it or lump it. And we said yesterday, Candy Gibson, Belinda Wilson, and I, no, we're not taking anything anymore. We're going to take, only thing we could take is your power away to keep dilly-dallying or fooling around and playing foolhardy with very important issues.
That's fascinating. And I'm glad you expressed that, because the reports that aired in the media gave a bit of a different impression. I'm going to go ahead and play one of them where, everybody spoke about Belinda and saying, that she thought more should have been done to consult prior to. Let's go ahead and hear the soundbite as it relates to those of you who did have an issue with the way this whole thing went down. I'm going to go ahead and play that right now.
They would go back to the parliament and amend the bill, which means, again, that it's a waste of time because it should have been done properly in the first place.
Non-government organizations, stakeholders, women's rights activists, and many more gathered at the Ministry of Social Services to express their concerns on the Protection Against Violence Bill 2023. The main bone of contention for most being that the bill has already passed in Parliament.
Glad we're here and talking, but it's unfortunate that the consultation process is coming at the back end after the passage of the Act. And so that's unfortunate, and hopefully we've all learned from this experience and that there is valuable input from organizations and individuals, and we'll get it around the right way the next time.
Well, Minister of Social Services Obi Wiltcombe responding to those concerns, saying that government was of the view that that they already did the necessary consultations, and at some point there may have been a miscommunication.
We set out and asked for views when I laid the bill in the Parliament. We were hoping to get responses, and it did not happen as we wanted it to. I think it might have been a breakdown in communication somewhere, but that doesn't matter. The truth is what the objective, and can we get there? We're further today than we were a year ago. We're further today than we were 4 months ago. Where we're trying to go is to get to legislation that helps us deal with an issue that we have seen to be taboo. We talked about it for many years, did nothing about it, but now we're doing something about it. So even if mistakes are made in the process, it doesn't matter. What does matter is knowing where we're going and getting to that objective.
Other issues raised include keeping track of domestic-related instances and stiffer penalties for those that commit heinous crimes against children.
That a national strategy is presented, is discussed, and decisions made, and that there's a system for information that is reliable so that we can have statistics on the gender-based violence and the various domestic relationships and problems that exist.
Realize that there are maximum sentences for crimes. A crime of rape would have a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. I've never once seen someone go to jail for raping a child and get a life prison sentence. So we want to say, if you're not going to give a life sentence for raping a child, you need to have at least a sentence in place, something like 20 years or something like that.
Minister Wiltcomb did confirm that government would be looking at the many recommendations given.
Seeking a win-win situation. We're trying to get to a point where we have an understanding of the importance of what we're trying to do and effective legislation to cause for change in our country. We're all on the same page. They made some recommendations that we believe are worth considering and certainly will be considered through the normal process. We'll come back within a couple of weeks and discuss with them again and move forward to ensure that once a new session of Parliament begins, we can bring any necessary amendments that we must.
Ladies, the minister says we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I don't know what book you're reading. It must be a different book.
Oh, okay. Boy.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So we have a minister of, you ready? I could go?
Go ahead.
We have a minister of national insecurity, Wayne Monroe, that last year, 2022, said or suggested to someone who was convicted of raping and impregnating a 14-year-old girl that he could have gotten a sentence lower than 4 years. That's who we have protecting our children. The same lawyer who defended Kofi Goodman in his appeal, and Kofi Goodman is the person that murdered Marco Archer. So did we really expect that they would prioritize bringing Marco's law when the person that defended Kofi Goodman is now the Minister of National Security? I think not. Moving right along. He should have been fired. People were saying he should have resigned. No, he should have been fired by the Prime Minister of the Bahamas immediately. I will not let that go. But thankfully, I racked my brain after that and said, what can we do to counteract that foolishness that he was spewing in the media? And I thought of, okay, if we impose and say that any person who commits any crime against a child, you're going to get penalized sufficiently. And by sufficiently, I mean severely. So even though you can get a life sentence for raping a child, we've never seen that. Let's say you get between 20, 30, 40 years and a life sentence. Let's decide at what point we're going to start penalizing you. How many years? Because just saying it could go up to life doesn't change the fact that children who get molested and are victims of rape, their perpetrators sometimes and they sometimes get 3 years imprisonment, 4 years imprisonment, 5 years imprisonment, and that should not be.
Yeah, we've all seen it and wondered how is it that they come up with the sentencing where it seems that for many of these sexual assaults and rapes, etc., the perpetrator, even after being found guilty, gets a little slap on the wrist, pretty much, compared to the actual crime that has been committed. And I keep saying on these shows that it makes you wonder whether or not we really do place any kind of value on are women and children. Often when we have these kinds of shows, I get a particular group of people, a few men, who take issue and say, oh, well, I don't see any uproar from these groups when all of these young men are killing each other in the street, but y'all only interested in women and children. Ladies, how do you respond to that way of thinking?
Let me respond to that. For 11 years plus, I've been the voice in the wilderness crying out for victims, especially young men who are being killed in our streets like dogs. You understand me? Whether the police kill them or civilians kill them, my plight is still the same. You understand me? As for the children are the innocent, silent victims in our country. The incidents, the situations happening to them, some of them can't even speak. We have babies being molested, You understand me? So if adults don't stand up and speak for them, who's supposed to speak for these little children? And the Bible tells us anybody harm these little children, it's cheaper they put a millstone around their neck and go into the ocean. The Bible tells us suffer little children to come unto us. Come on. I don't understand, for the love of God, why men feel like they're entitled to children private parts. And it's sickening when your fathers and uncles, your family members phoning with them. How can a father feel comfortable getting an erection for his child? And that's okay. Then we have some mothers, like Tania said earlier, where they don't want to know about it. It brushed under the table. It's hide. Then years later, the child started to suffer trauma. I remember being in the hospital. I remember. Then it comes back to remembering that she was molested, and we expect that when things happen, while you could go on with your life, that child suffers trauma. The victim suffers trauma.
They are given the life sentence.
My point exactly. They are the real victims. You understand me? Because while this incident happened today, that child got to go through it for the rest of life. And I'm going to be real with you. These persons who committing these acts, they're not just fooling with these girls, they're frontward, they're fooling with them backward as well. So you're damaging a child. You're down. And my whole thing about it, I feel like it should be like a working relationship right now with the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the prison. Because if 3 months ago, John Doe molest somebody and this is his MO, he do it back and front. You understand me? Then 2 months later, this same thing happened to another person. Let's see if John Doe got bail yet, because this song is John Doe MO. You understand me? So I feel like we should have a list right now of all persons who committed sexual offense, incest, molestation, rape, and look at their MO. And when these stuff happen, we should be able to cross-reckon the database with the prison, see if this person got bail, if this person out, because my thing about it, these person, they committing these crimes. We send them to jail. I don't know if a pedophile could be rehabilitated. I don't know if that's possible, but nevertheless, I ain't God. But we send them to jail, no rehabilitation. They come back out and doing the same thing. These people don't just go to bed today or sit down today and say I can rape somebody. They did this before. And a lot of these people doing this stuff, they would have done this when they was like at a juvenile age. So when they would have fooled with somebody at juvenile age, they got a slap on the wrist, nothing big. So now they in adulthood now, they're doing the same thing. And that's why I feel like we should have a database with the prison that we could cross-check and reference and check these people's juvenile history, and we'll see these people committed these acts years and months ago when they were juvenile.
I don't even know where to begin, ladies, because I just feel like we keep having the same conversations over and over and over again, because we are a very reactive society. We wait until things happen, and then when they happen so often, we get desensitized. I mean,
you know what? The action starts with boldness and courage. And I would venture to say that once the MP who is now before the courts is convicted of the crimes that he is facing,
if he's found guilty,
okay, there'll be a by-election, and that means that seat is open for someone who has a community advocacy and involvement track record, someone who is proven in other ways and reputable in their constituency to run and take that seat away from both the FNM and PLP parties. Run as an independent. I will put my personal support behind it, and I will encourage everybody in my network to do the same. Once we do a background check on this person, vet them, get some references, and know and see that they are the right match to represent the community of North Abaco. That's one item.
You know how these people go in this town. If you ain't wearing a particular color, they don't care what your character is or is not. But we got to take a break. So let's go to this break. And boy, I tell you, when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. Major conference coming up next week for women. But women in the country are saying, yeah, okay, you plan your conference, so what about our voices right here? We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company today, along with my guests, Janelle Burrows and Candy Gibson. We're talking about women's issues, children's issues. Many of the women's activist groups are not exactly pleased with the way things went down. And we're talking about that today. The numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show on Facebook, where we are streaming live to the Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. And we're also streaming live to our YouTube channels. Speaking of channels, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. And alternatively, you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And a huge welcome to all of our audience listening by way of radio, whether you're tuned in from New Providence, Grand Bahama, throughout the Family Islands, and of course, a huge welcome to all of you who are listening from outside the country. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Lady Michelle Malcolm. How are you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Wonderful. And Candy and the women's group, the activist group in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am for basically what the ladies are saying, with the exception, I think Candy Bucker, though Candy is my ex-co-worker from BTC, and I always follow Candy with her program, and she's doing an awesome job. But in order not to make it a you and me fight, us against them fight, women fight, because you know what? Some of these crazy men done this thing in this society.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm certainly not one of them,
Mm-hmm.
but then I call a spade, and when Candy said something that, oh, these man think they could do anything to these children, see, it's going to cause a fight, because then the fellas can start calling in, and we get to defend ourselves. Because whether they like to believe it or people like to don't want to believe it or not, we men, we're human beings too. And I am sure that there are more of us good men out there than the handful of bastards that they poking at. So I would just like for them to they're doing a good job. Let's stay focused, keep it above board. You know, no finger pointing, and let's just keep it level. That's all.
You know what? Candy is well able to defend herself, so I can let her respond to you.
No, that sounds like your opinion, because at the end of the day, I don't mean you. If you're not a pedophile, and guys out there know if they're not fooling with little children, I don't mean them. They're excluded from this. But those ones with that nasty mind that feels like they're entitled to children's body parts, then that's what I'm speaking to. I'm not speaking to the law-abiding citizen, the men who love their children, love their grandchildren, who adores their children, who adores their neighbor children. I'm not speaking about those, but I'm speaking about these evil-minded men. That's what I'm speaking about today.
See, Candy, I understand you and I agree with you, you know. You see, but I want to stay focused, because I ain't gonna come on the show and I could say these bad-minded women, and I could say some things about y'all today that y'all disrespect, y'all hate men. And no, I want to keep it above ground. You do what you just said, because that's what you should have said. Not the good men, the bad-minded ones. Or you can just generalize it and say, listen, people in general, because even although it's more prevalent with men doing all these stupid things, females is doing it too. So that's just thing on it, eh? Good
okay, I do apologize. I would be better rephrase myself, so I do apologize.
Thank you, caller. You know, I just want to say this, that oftentimes when people are speaking out of a place of passion, I maybe because I'm a female, but hearing what Candy said, I did not think she was referring to all men.
No, I didn't.
She was referring to the men who commit these acts. And I think we get so caught up in this us against you all foolishness. And that's what it is, foolishness. That in many cases, people don't want to face reality because they've gone down the path of us against you all. You know, and I really think that that's unfortunate, because that's not what this conversation is about today. I often say that you cannot fix what you do not acknowledge. And if every time we have one of these shows, people get offended because they, oh, y'all woman always coming here. And I'm not saying that was you, sir. Please don't get me wrong. But every time we do one of these shows, I'm guaranteed that somebody will call with that attitude. And I'm thinking that the energy that you put into trying to make this, and again, I'm not referring to you, sir, when I say you, I'm talking you plural. The energy that you put into trying to make this about us against them, men against women, if we put that same energy where it ought to be in terms of how we all need to contribute to making this a safer place for the more vulnerable in our society, I dare say that we would be moving a lot further along than we are right now. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
How you doing, Miss Malcolm?
Good, how are you?
And sunshine and blessings to your guests.
Likewise.
Yeah. To the ladies, don't let nobody throw y'all off course, man. Y'all ain't this ain't about a man and woman thing. It's about
not.
the right thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have nothing to apologize for. Somebody ain't catch what you all saying, and that go over their head, then that's on them to educate themselves what you're saying. Freedom always comes at a cost. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
You dig down, put your 10 toes in, and you say what you have to say. This ain't about a pants and skirt thing. This is about what they doing to the country. So if people seeing a certain group of people fighting for what's right, either you stand with them or you get out of the way. Listen to what you're saying. You understand what I'm trying to say? I can't sit back as a male and hearing y'all speak and trying to decipher what y'all saying. If my daughter go out there right now and something is to happen to her, me as a male, where you think I can end up? But I hear other people saying, look here, if you all touch these little children, here's what I think you all should get. What wrong in that? You understand? I make me understand what wrong in that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe whoever calling y'all feel different because y'all is women saying it. I don't know. Make me understand that. Because I sitting down and I listening to what y'all saying and I misinterpret nothing. I agree with the other caller. Give whoever touch any literature in life or put something on the leg, kill them in the ocean and sink them. As far as I can say, that's my judgment to that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this thing that miss, if anybody, to both of y'all, anybody have anything to say, you get militant because that's a good right which y'all fighting for, and I down with that. You know what I mean? And like I say, look at Niger. Everything come at a cost. Freedom come at a cost. And if any male hear you talking, show me where the wrong is in that. And this ain't about a he or she thing. How I can, I sitting back, hearing you talking, and how I can simple out saying, okay, boys, that has happened to boys or whatever too. You get what I'm trying to say? Give you all a chance to explain yourself. You're all defending what is right. So who calling in and talking about trying to make this about a gender? That makes no sense to me. So if nobody can say it to you, don't let no man bully. Don't let nobody hold your tongue and say what you got to say. You got that's how I see it. And I ain't hear y'all say nothing off course. So the only thing to me is it's not that you have a problem because they're coming from the female. But if anybody know history, female is the backbone. You know the strongest men, the silent men, the strongest men in the world. Who take his power? Who take the strongest man in the world power? Woman. That's the only set of people on earth which can tamper a strong man is a woman. So why we have problems with y'all? And if you all feel like something going wrong on your side, then fix it. The man ain't doing it. Don't look at the parliament. The next lady was right. That guy who messed with that lady. You hear anything about that woman who was there? Nobody say nothing on behalf of that woman, and that hurt my heart because I got more sisters than brothers. Nobody say nothing on that woman, but everybody defending this creep. You get what I'm trying to say? You all spit you all fire. Who don't like it? That's what you all keep talking and make them uncomfortable. Keep making them uncomfortable. And God bless what you all doing. Michelle, you on track, man. And anybody gets something to say, tell them talk to a man. Let these women do what they got to do to right this country. And God bless you all, and I hope you all live long life.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. I really appreciate what you said today. And, anyway, I ain't gonna go there today. But I appreciate that. Some men have to hear it from a man in order for them to hear it. That's just the bottom line. And so I appreciate you calling and saying what you said today. And for the record, I ain't pay him. I don't know who he is, but he just called, obviously because he wanted to get that off of his chest. Now, I know we have another call on the line, but Tennille Tadabaros is going to have to leave us in about 4 minutes. So call her before she pulls out. Let me just give her an opportunity to give us her final thoughts on this, and then we're going to come to you. Tada? Tada, can you hear us? Is she muted or something? Okay, go ahead and talk. Tada, are you there? Okay, don't mute her. Let her mic. I don't know what's happening. But she did indicate that she could only give us until 2:55. So I'm not sure if she's still in the vicinity because I'm seeing her photo up, but she may have walked away from the camera. Okay, caller.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to take a minute and say thank you, sir. We're not going to put any millstones around anybody's necks. We could send them to jail for life or 20 years or whatever it is instead of 2 or 3. But I just want to take a moment because I think we need a little breather. And I'm getting a call that I have to decline. Here's what I reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch women and men. Somebody's hand. Make the Bahamas a better place. If you can. So I'm going to leave you with 2 words. Trevor Wiley. He's a former PLP senator that has been charged with sexually assaulting a little boy. We have the case before the courts now as well with Cornish. When people in positions of power show us that they do not mean us well, and by us I mean our children, we have to stand up and strategize, speak up like the young man said, and don't be afraid. I am the last one to try when it comes to being afraid to speak up. And I will also step up again if I need to, like I said earlier, and run as an independent candidate for the constituency of Elizabeth. But you'll hear more on that later. We'll see how things go. For now, the demand from Tennille Tadabaros and Rise Bahamas is implement minimum mandatory sentences for all people who commit crimes against children. Stay tuned for more. Thank you, Michelle, for this opportunity. Candy, I love you. If you need to run for Nassau Village as a candidate, do that. I got your back.
Thank you, love.
All right, Tada. Thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate you coming on and the time that you were able to give us. Much appreciated. All right. We do have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
I call back with defense because I am a real man. To that caller, because obviously me and him were saying the same thing. I never called the show and condemned those ladies for what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I said to Candy, I always call her Candy, is that Candy, you said these man think they could prove any children. If you want to take your people since he's so educated, and you say these man, that means you point the fingers at men. I told her that.
She didn't say all men, sir. She didn't say all men.
But I also said the stupid men and the dumb men. I said, Candy, if you want to say that, you fine to say that. So meaning was basically saying the same thing. I got 21 children.
How many?
I know what kind of, 21. I don't know what kind of talk the real man he think he talking to. But I am all for what these ladies are saying. I just telling Candy, you all shoot your shots, but try to keep it focused. Don't point no fingers at nobody. And that was what I said, Michelle Malcolm. Try not to point fingers. Keep it general if you can. Okay, and that is what they are fighting for now. They're fighting for specific stuff with the females in terms of that bill that was passed. So the government is trying to pass that bill and keep it general. rather than say it's only females or males or whatever have you. And that was the gist of my conversation in case he missed that. I'm not fighting against these ladies. They got plenty children and plenty baby mommy and plenty daughters. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling. For the record, though, sir, I hear you, and I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I'm just saying we don't need to go down that road of us having to walk on eggshells and be so politically correct. If Candy had said all men, then I would have myself corrected her. And I hear what you're saying about trying not to go down that road, but when you face what she faces every day dealing with victims, when you face what Tada has faced both from a personal level and as an activist, when you see stories about 8-year-olds being raped, 9-year-olds being raped, 85-year-olds being raped, this ain't no time to be worrying about being politically correct. With all due respect, sir. Now, if these ladies start saying all men, then I personally will pull them back and say no, because we do have a lot of good men out there. We do have a lot of good fathers who love their children, who love their grandchildren, who will take care of theirs and others. But if the cap fit, wear it. Clearly, we ain't talking about everybody on this show today. Mm-hmm. But if the cap fit, yeah, we talking about you. And if you want to take offense, who mad, stay mad. I don't care. Because enough is enough. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Amen. Hallelujah, Miss Malcolm. Preach it, lady. Preach it. Good afternoon, you and your guests. Y'all are doing a good job.
Thank you.
But what I need to know, what I would like for you to do, that same young gentleman, he always, I don't know if you noticed that, but I watch your show every day, this Mr. Vo, and he listens to you every day. If you can get him on your show, that would be good. He really put whatever he said today, he have it together. He is good. For a young guy like he said he is, yes, he's good. Y'all keep up the good work. But like I tell y'all before, the last time y'all had this, what they need to do with them rapers, slice off their penis. God bless you.
Thank you so much for calling.
You think they'll ever use it again? They will never have that no more, not even the pee out. God bless you. Keep up the good work. Love y'all.
I love you too. Thank you so much for your support. We have another caller? Okay. All right, let's take a break. On the other side of this break, we are going to continue this conversation. We're going to hear from some women's activists who were kind of happy with the results of that meeting that took place with the minister yesterday. We're trying to be balanced here. And so we're going to hear from them. And at some point in the show, we're also going to hear from the wife of the prime minister and her thoughts on the way this was all handled. Plus, we have okay. All right. So we're going to take a break. And then on the other side, we're going to continue with this show. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, tints, and tires.
We We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with my guest, Candy Gibson from Foam. And we are talking today about some issues that some members of the women's activist community have as it relates to how this whole thing went down regarding the Violence Act compared to the what they were hoping to see included in that as it relates to gender-specific violence. And so let's tell you how you can be a part of this conversation. The telephone numbers to call are 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, the WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. We are streaming live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. And if you haven't already done so, please like and share the show. You can find us on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. And you can also download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. We're also airing on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. So a huge welcome to all of you. However you're tuned in today, whether it be by radio, by the app, by Cable Bahamas, YouTube, Facebook, however you're tuned in, thank you so much for joining us. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good day, Michelle, and good day to your panelists.
Hi.
Yes, I'm calling pertaining to the conversation that you guys are having.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we all agree that we need more stiff penalties when it comes to these things, the atrocity towards our children. Because children are innocent. But in the Bahamas, there's a trend too. And we know that men have done a lot of atrocious things to our children without you know, and they need the maximum penalty. But there's a trend from back in the days, right? Under the roof, where you have a mother, a children, a male figure, either the father, the stepfather, or the boyfriend, whatever the case may be, right? And one of those main factors are keeping stability in the home, taking care of everything, having mother comfortable. Now here it is, the daughter or the son confide in the mother, say, Mom, daddy or stepdaddy or your boyfriend touched me in a strange way. And the mother blows it off and rebuke them, right? So it goes on and on and on until the child becomes, say, 17 or whatever the case may be, to defend themselves. He or she to defend themselves.
Mm.
Shouldn't there be a law towards the mother who's in the home who let this nightmare go on for so long? Shouldn't there be a penalty for the mother? You would let the panelists answer that.
Thank you so much.
Hang on.
It's a good question.
All right.
Candy, what are your thoughts on that?
I think there should be a penalty, especially when the child would have reached out or the mother suspected something, and you did nothing about it. It should be a penalty. But I even watched with Bella mother case. You see the Bella stepdad was given time, and then he said she was given 3 years. So I feel like the I guess country is moving forward because she was given time, for the situation with her, but with the Bella situation. So I feel like yes, we as mothers, whoever, whether it be an auntie, uncle, grandparent, godparent, whoever know and turn a blind eye should face some repercussion of the situation because of the situation.
Back in the day, I think this happened more often than not and went unreported because of the fact that women had such few options as it relates to being able to sustain their families economically. They were relying on that man to bring the bacon home. And for that reason, I think a lot of this took place in the past. We just, looked the other way or swept it under the rug because the man was the sole bread earner, the sole breadwinner. And unfortunately, women felt that they didn't have a choice but to stand by and allow this to happen for fear of what is going to happen to us if he's not in the picture providing. It's a warped way of thinking, but I understand why that would have taken place in the past, considering the limited number of options that were available to women at the time. But this is 2023. And it hurts my heart to know that that kind of thing continues to happen where women, and in some cases men, but more so women, are willing to sacrifice their children on the altar of what this man can do for me. Or it's just sick. And what we need to realize is that, as somebody pointed out on the show earlier, um, he may not get any meaningful time. The female perpetrator may not get any meaningful time, but in many ways, you're putting that child in prison for life because that is a scar that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. And I know that God is able to heal. I know that God is able to heal wounds, deep wounds. But we need to realize the damage that we're doing to our society. Even if you don't give a hoots, even if you don't care about children, understand how you are allowing damage to happen to us as a whole, as a society, because those wounded children, those traumatized children, will grow into wounded adults. And I just read a comment the other day, and it was talking about how when people don't deal with trauma of the past, they end up bleeding all over people who did not cut them.
Yes.
So you're talking about a problem that follows us all throughout society. Oftentimes we look at the bad behavior of many of our young people and some older ones too. And, the question used to be, what's wrong with you? But as Dr. David Allen pointed out, the question really should be, what happened to you? Because many of them themselves are facing or not facing trauma that they would have experienced. And because they never dealt with that trauma, they are bleeding over all the rest of us. And so we need to see this as a societal problem. Even if you figure, well, my heart ain't really for children. My heart ain't really for women. Is your heart for society? Is your heart for all of us and how this is impacting all of us? Because I want you to know that it is. This follows people for the rest of their lives. And there is no sweeping it under the rug anymore. The foolishness has got to stop. It's got to stop. Do we have a caller? No. Okay, so let's go to this clip. This is from some of the women's activist groups who were feeling a bit hopeful and optimistic after that meeting was held yesterday, I believe it was, with the Minister of Social Services, Obi Wilchcombe. Here now is that report.
The bill, but to me, it's an improvement.
Sorry, I played the wrong clip. Here's the correct clip.
Women's groups and advocates voicing their concerns to Social Services Minister Obi Wilchcombe following the passing of the Protection Against Violence Bill. President of Women United Bahamas, Podesta Moore, speaking to media following the closed meeting, saying 2 weeks ago they met with Wilchcombe expressing their concerns. She says coming out of the meeting today, they are hopeful and optimistic.
We were able to bring together women who were concerned about the same matter that we had and come together with a very comprehensive document.
Now the women's organizations and advocates releasing a number of recommendations to the Protection Against Violence Bill. Women United Vice President Lisa Boswick-Dean.
There are things like the protections that were suggested in the gender-based violence bill. They did not fully carry over into the Protection Against Violence bill, which has been passed. There are also portions of the act which relate to what aid is available to a victim of violence, but they limited it only to victims of sexual violence. Very importantly also was the overall structure of the act, which places so much weight and responsibility in the hands of the minister to guide the policy as we go forward as it relates to gender-based violence and now violence. And we're saying that that should not be the case.
Social Services Minister Obi Wilchcombe calling today's meeting productive.
We're all on the same page. They made some recommendations that we believe are worth considering and certainly will be considered through the normal process.
All right. So, Candy, again, you were at that meeting. You heard what those ladies said, Podesta and others who are hopeful and optimistic that the meeting was, in fact, more fruitful and that they believe, or hope at least, that they will see some kind of positive results as an outcome of that meeting. You don't share any optimism?
Yeah, I do feel the same way. You know, I do, like I said before, I support the bill, you know. Like I said, the bill was already passed. You could always add, you could always amend, you could always take out. And so the mere fact that I want to say this, I do appreciate him even meeting with the ladies and meeting with all of us, because you have some people wanted and said, a president, that's it, and that's all too bad. But you got to say, this is final. But the mere fact that, you know, that he was able to meet with Women United and many other of us who had our share of input and our share of recommendation, I really appreciate that. You know, moving forward, you know, it's about the safety of everyone in our country, not just Bahamians, because I did mention immigration and I mentioned foreign affairs, you know, so we need to make sure everybody feels safe and comfortable, and there's a bill intact to protect us all. Because I remember a couple of years ago, there was some $20 million allocated from IDB for citizen security protection. And I think nothing was dealt with that, and so the monies went back. So, you know, like we didn't have stuff like in place before for the protection of a citizen.
Wow.
Yeah, some 20 million was allocated from the IDB bank under Bernard Norris regime, and they nothing happened. I heard the monies were sent back.
Wow. Wow. That's all I could say is wow.
You understand?
Yeah, that's very concerning. I just hope that we can get beyond this whole question of what is the agenda behind women speaking out in the way that they're speaking out, because we hear that often. whenever the ladies come forward with these concerns, there's always an effort by some in our society to try to make this out to be, oh, they are an agenda to destroy men, or oh, they are an agenda. This is the LGBT thing, trying to push that agenda. How does that make you feel, Candy, when you hear that kind of criticism?
It makes me feel bad, but I realize, you know, we in a society, we in a world whereas we live in amongst these persons, whatever the case. But then don't force me, don't try force me to your will. You know, I have my own will, and don't try thinking I supposed to you just supposed to throw your whatever how you feel down my throat. No, you know, give me a chance to grasp and expect things every day. But I want to say this too, even with making more decisions and future decisions in our country. I personally feel like the government need to sit with grassroots NGOs. Okay, it's good to hire Mary with a degree, and it's good to hire Tom with this degree or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, Tom in on the road with the people, Tom in the field with the people, Tom Sheila in the grass with the people. Then they in office. That sounds good. But at the end of the day, the people who actually working with these people daily is the ones who should be having a seat at the table when it's time to make decisions. Like, first of all, FOAM start off as families of all murder victims. We only deal and cater to murder victims and their families, meaning the children. Now FOAM is like one head with many different arms. If people feel like if their child get molested, incest, rape, they pick up the phone and call me. If there is police brutality, they pick up the phone and call me. If their loved one get killed, they pick up the phone and call me. If the loved one go to jail and just, they pick up the phone and call me. If they consult for something, they call FOAM. You understand? And I can't have an attitude and say, oh, I don't get paid for this, or that in my business, or call this. I don't do that. When the mayor fucking, that's what I tell persons. FOAM is the mediator between the broken system and the people. We're the mediator of peace. So when persons feel like they're being dealt with unjust, they reach out to FOAM, and our job is to make sure there's some kind of peace or transparency in the midst of that. And so I just want to thank God daily that He allowed my brothers to murder to birth FOAM, and for me to be able to be a listening ear for the people to have some kind of comfort and healing.
I know when you approached me, when we bumped into each other the other day, Candy, when it was decided we would do this show, you had some serious concerns about the way victims are treated by the system. You care to share any more on that?
And
I know you
I'm
were
not gonna
very
lie.
happy
I am not gonna lie. It's like I am concerned that it's almost like victims in this country don't have a face. Like, it's almost like victims in this country don't have a voice. Like, something happened, and whatever happens to you getting your justice or your closure, that on you. First of all, we can start with, let's say, murder victims' family. When your loved one get killed, after they meet you to the morgue and they take you to, and then you go to CDU, you have the round table meeting. Many families, so they get numbers, even including me. My brother's been there from 11 or 12. They give you number. You can never catch them to them numbers. You understand me? So my whole thing about it is like, we exist. I saw it at a time. I've been to a murder scene recently. I wouldn't say how recently is the lady's son got killed, and the police said, I'm just come by the morgue tomorrow. Not even, ma'am, I want to offer condolences on behalf of the Royal Bahama Police Force. It's a possibility that might be your son, but we just asked her tomorrow, can you come to the morgue tomorrow and bring a photo ID of him, please? Whatever. Nothing, ma'am. Ma'am, the woman's like, that's my son. Oh, ma'am, meet us tomorrow. Meet us to the morgue in the morning. Come on, man. That woman just lost her son. She knows her son. You only know it's her son, but she knows her son because she know the car, and she could describe whatever picture was there, whatever. Come on. But then most recently, I had to deal with a rape victim, and her mom would have reached out to me and so forth. It was 7:30 one morning. She reached out to me, and I was like, when she said she reached out to me, she said I'm just teaching her daughter, this Candy Gibson lady who's help everybody. She could make sure help us. I was like, oh my God, this woman put everything on me now. So when she told me her daughter was raped and how, what happened or whatever the case is, I said, okay, ma'am. So she haven't heard back from the police yet and so forth. I said, okay, then. So I tried to reach out to some persons. I didn't got any response, but I said, reach out to a nice superintendent now, ASP lady now, Miss McKinney. She was able to give me a call. She was able to tell me that she's going to forward on to somebody. And the person who she called, they was like, I think they wasn't in office, but they was off. The department is closed. And they would have to actually go into work to actually get the person, view the person file, to call the victim back or whatever. So they finally did that. They called it, they'll call her Wednesday. She wait by on Wednesday. No, nobody called. She finally called. They don't give the type of information on the phone. She actually has to come in to get that information. She has no car or whatever the case is, however the catch So I told her, okay, well, I will carry you to the police station the following day or whatever. I carried to the police station the following day. The plexiglass is up. The gentleman comes out. How can I help? Very, very nice officer. He asked, how can I help? And I was like, it was a rape victim or whatever. And he asked her name. She gave her name. He went back in the back. Then he came back out front and he asked her, what's your name again, ma'am? And she went and she gave him a name. And So we sitting there waiting a while, and then finally calling her back, 'cause she's the victim. I'm not the victim. And then they said to her, they said to her, then she calls me back. Say, you go, Miss Gibson. They're going to finish in the interview me back. They need some more information, whatever the case is. And so there's all this would have happened prior to that, and she would have already been in the hospital with the police officer, whatever. And so then she calls me like an hour and a half later, and she told me, Miss Gibson. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I have to catch bus from here. I said, excuse me? I said, none of the office gonna drop you home? She said, no, ma'am. And I'm gonna tell you what a lie. I got so upset. I was like, during COVID-19, we could find cars to put the mark COVID-19 on them. You try and tell me COVID-19 is already amongst us. We have to live with it no matter what. They can't take them signs off, tint a few of them cars, and have them to the station for matters like this. So she had to catch bus home. That hurt me so much because I'm like, where is the compassion? Where is the empathy? There's a victim, and then number two, then she tells me she has to the following week she has an appointment to go for counseling. You guys know the state of mind or the frame of mind that victim is in for her to be up and down, gotta catch was a hike ride. Why can't be someone coming to her? Like they said, they wouldn't give you information over the phone about rape. Then have an officer come out to her and give her information. Have someone, like they say, there's victim care. Have someone from the victim care department pick her up and transport her to the counseling, or have the counselor come to her house. And then two, I personally feel like when you're coming into any police station with that plexiglass, when I have a problem with that plexiglass being there, because person coming to get their chassis checked, person coming to get armed robbery matters, house breaking matters, car theft, everybody in the line waiting to be served. Thank God that when we been there, there wasn't nobody there. But you can imagine other people sitting out waiting to get served, and you got to go to the window, and the people sitting out in the back, you can hear you what you come to deal with. I feel like sexual offense matters or domestic violence or rape victim, it should be a special code. Once you go there, or if they don't have a different industry to come into, it should be a special code. When you get a that plexiglass, you should be able to say, well, CP. You know, that's the CP means code personal. It should be a special thing that you say there, that they automatically let you come in the back, and you go in the back and you wait until the officer come from the back and hang up. And then secondly, I don't feel like you should be able to tell a male officer is a rape matter. I feel like a female should have been on board or something like that. You understand? I mean, I feel like we passing these bills, right? And it's good to be in cabinet, in the House of Assembly, having all the I's dotted, the paperwork. But the line staff, we're going to deal with these people after that. Where do they come in? How do we properly train them? And I feel like every station, even though I must commend Commissioner Fernanda for opening our domestic violence division. A domestic violence division should be in every police station. Everywhere you live, from Michael Road, Camp Road, Foxhill, whatever, a domestic violence unit should be in every police station. So which means if something happened to Camp Road, I ain't gotta go to East Street South. If something happened to East Street South, I ain't gotta go to Michael Road Police Station. A domestic violence unit should be in every police station, and should be in a different entrance for you to come into. Sometimes, people had bleeding, they get cuts on them. Come on down here for everybody to see. So I feel like moving forward, we need to have like a people who have compassion, and the police force. Mind you, we have some good, excellent Royal Bahama police force. We have some good officers, but then we still have majority of them, they're military, they're militant. We need people like, who have heart for the people, who sympathetic for the people. Like the lady should have not been allowed to catch bus. She should not have to look for a ride to go to get counseling. Stuff like this is supposed to be like I tell them in the meeting yesterday, I suggested we need now a checklist. But whenever a victim comes, it's a checklist. This has to be done. That has to be done. A checklist to ensure that the victim get the best care service possible to help them navigate their journey and their trauma. But I don't understand. But like Dr. Carter Luke, he said, there's something in place for the kids. Kids have something in place, like the counselor. If the children don't come, they call social service, and bring the child to the crisis center. But when something happens to females, there's nothing in place for females.
Wow.
And then from this happened, the perpetrator still has not been arrested yet. It's just that. When she showed her where the perpetrator is, I don't understand how victims are treated in this country. It was like, it happened and big deal, and God have to know someone personally to help you. God help you.
Wow. This is hard to hear. This is very, very hard to hear. I mean, we all like to watch the programs on television, and I'm sure we're all familiar with the TV show SVU, Special Victims Unit, and see how they are treated. And I just think that in 2023, we should be so much further along than we are when it comes to this issue. And it just grieves me that more, or up until this point, more had not been done. What
And
happened?
that's it again. Not
Yeah.
cut you off, Mr. Malcolm, and that's why I say again, when they have these round tables, making decisions and passing bills, include the victims in it. Because I can't say what needs to be done if I have not been a victim. I can't say how a victim should be treated if I have not been a victim. So we need tables where we can hear from the victims and use their experience along with the book work, the degree people. And let's do something about it. Like a lady who was there who was also a rape victim, Miss Ellie Clark, Miss Clark. She was a rape victim and she has a book to talk about her journey to rape. And she's saying how, like, when persons are raped or molested, they don't want to go back to work. Some of them lose their job. And she had mentioned, should there be a special time frame off from work that a person can take off work and not be terminated? And I think that was a good suggestion.
Right. Give the person.
So people don't understand that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, we have to take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to continue this conversation with Candy Gibson from Foam. We are talking about this whole question of whether or not sufficient is being done or will be done once the Parliament reconvenes in October. Are women's activists comfortable that finally we're going to see some real teeth put behind the laws that do exist, and whether or not we will see this most current law amended in any way to make people feel a bit more comfortable with the thought that perpetrators will face the music for what they are found guilty for. We're going to take this break, and then we will continue with the GPS on the other side. Stay with us.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and onboard lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
Welcome back to GPS, Paradigm Shift on Global 95 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company. I'm going to bring our guest back into the studio momentarily, but let's tell you how you can become a part of the show. The numbers to call: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live to the official Michelle Malcolm and the Global 99.5 FM Facebook pages. If you haven't already done so, please like and share the show. Also streaming live to our YouTube channels. Speaking of channel, you can find us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. Download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And of course, welcome to you all listening by way of radio, whether you are in New Providence, Grand Bahama, the rest of the Family Islands, from across the country. A huge welcome. Thank you so much for making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Very well, thanks. I just want to commend you for the show you have on.
Thank you.
We need so many more shows like this, especially in view of the fact that so many of our young people, our young children, are being predators. So that's very good. And to the lady, I don't remember her name. I should. I've heard it enough times. From phone?
Candy.
Candy?
Mm-hmm.
Candy, I want to commend you for your efforts. Please, don't become disheartened. You're doing a yeoman's job. There's somebody who must speak out. I hope I am wrong with my perception. It seems as if the poor and the ignorant are usually the ones who are left behind and have the most difficulty in terms of getting any kind of positive results from the law and the rest of it. I just hope I'm wrong, because I don't think if somebody is doing you a disservice, if somebody is wrong and doing you wrong, I don't think you should be measured because of your intelligence or what have you. So don't become disheartened. You hang in there. God is hearing what you have to say. I always admired what you are doing. You are brave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Candy, she's on to something. Do you have less of a chance at receiving justice based on your socioeconomic backdrop from your experience? You're muted. Unmute your mic.
Repeat.
Okay, we can hear you
Okay,
now.
repeat the question, please.
I said that caller is on to something. Is she correct? Do people from a lower socioeconomic um, standpoint or position have a harder time receiving justice than those who have means in this country?
Of course, man. That's throughout the world, you know. It's throughout the world. Like, you know, a poor man could get railroaded because he don't have money, so whatever the case is. But a big man can because he could hire an attorney. He could, you know, he could fight for justice, you know. Like I see, like when I hear a person's kind of a story and they tell me their story, and I say, like, but if you know, you'll have to get an attorney, but I don't have an attorney. And I say, no, something. And that's why it's so sad that happened because you don't have, they know they did this to you and they know you would have no attorney to fight it. So you just have to just swallow it, you know, and that's why I tell persons, you know, like, stop just swallowing stuff. Like, you can't be afraid. Tell your story. That's your truth. Tell your story.
Do we have anything in this country like a public defender's unit who will take cases for people who do not have the means, or is that solely at the discretion of the Bar Association?
Okay, I know with the public defenders, they would defend you if you would have been charged with a crime and you don't have that money for attorney. That's provided you're already being charged.
Right.
But I must say, I thank God for a few of my board members are attorney, and I thank God that especially the juvenile attorney, Mr. Tabari Smith, Attorney Tabari Smith, he's very helpful. If I come to him with a juvenile matter, he will take that on free of charge. Renard Henfield, Donna Major, Christina Galanas, if I Keith Seymour, if I come to them with a situation, they will take the matters on free of charge. And that's not every other month I can come to them with a situation. But when I come, I really, really need help with this, look at this case for me. And they will send the person to them. So I really, really, really appreciate them. And they're our attorneys. And a few of them are phone board members. I really appreciate them.
I want to read a comment. This one coming in from Facebook, and I want you to respond to this. Lloyd says, no stiffer penalties as long as the PLP and FNM, because both have shady characters in their parliament they're protecting. Is this a political thing as far as you're concerned?
I wouldn't say it's a political thing. I would just say the rich man, you know, the Bible say money answered all things. That's what I would say. The Bible says that, you know, money answered all things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that not just saying it's party, you know, it's just saying money answered all things. So, and thinking like we live in a country where everybody know everybody. Like people say, oh, but in the US, I guess we can't compare the US or any other place in the world with the Bahamas. People could drive from Miami and go straight up to wherever. The Bahamas is just the Bahamas. Everybody knows somebody who ain't nobody, who is somebody. We're so connected. Like, do Ben man, like you want to see a big lie? Okay, just say John Doe want to get a job in the police force. And people gotta come to John Doe area and vet John Doe area. At that time, the neighbor know John Doe is a criminal. They know John Doe is just do whatever. Oh, John Doe was a good boy, no problem, always help around the yard. Just that perfect lie. Okay, John Doe now go on to the force. So only thing that happen now with John Doe now is he is gonna be a bigger bad person, or he'll use it to transform himself. You understand me? So it's these same little lies and like what is catch up, what I think was create bigger monsters.
I want to read a comment. This one coming in by way of Facebook. This is from Sandra. Sandra says, let me pull it up here. I think the only way to deal with a person who has been convicted of a type of crime like this is to let the public know who they are so that they could be aware and avoid this person, so he will think twice about it doing it again. Is that enough, Candy?
I don't think that's enough, because I don't know if you recall a few years ago, this little girl, I think she would have been like about 8 or 9. Her mommy or her Grammy with a center with this guy to make sure he bring back the correct change, and he molested her a
Yes.
couple years ago, and he
Mhm.
would have gone to prison. He would have came out. Now, some would have saw him when he came out, and they would have seen him working the way he was working, and they went and almost kill him. Okay. Then we had another guy today who they said was a pedophile or rapist. He was let go, and a couple hours later, I think he was found dead, or took or wait, a week later, he was found dead. And it's so sad. Like in this society, everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows where to find everybody. So I personally feel now with all this going on, like I feel like a person who fools with a child, I feel like you shouldn't care who know who they is no more. Because if you didn't care before you molest a child, why should people care about your safety? Sad, but it's the truth. You ain't care about the safety of that little person who you violated. So why should people care about your safety? Why? Now that ain't a moral way of doing it, but then at the end of the day too, like I feel like, like when these little children get molested in this country and so forth or whatever, like I feel like we can start taking it serious when family members start waiting on these people, they go in a court and hurting them, It's sad. Like, we have to get really, really, we have to, what should I say? The families have to like really get draconian, do something draconian for people to understand. Stop fooling with people, children.
The unfortunate thing about that, though, I remember a case not long ago where a young lady was sexually assaulted, and I believe the police had put out some kind of sketch, and an innocent man was walking through the neighborhood, and he looked, I guess, a little bit like that sketch, and people decided to take matters into their own hands and nearly killed him out with a beat, and come to find out he wasn't the right person.
Wasn't even him.
So it's unfortunate, but we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hey, Malcolm, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, man. Miss Candy.
Hi.
Okay. I think y'all gotta get more serious with what's going on in the Bahamas with when men take these little young girls. All they come on the radio or the television and say Jane is missing. When they find Jane, they don't say it. I know they gotta hide the identity of the person that they kind of young, but they need to bring on. Is Harry do it? They need to bring Harry picture on the TV and say this was Harry. What had he? They don't gotta say the name Jane. They could say, well, this was Harry who
was harboring her.
Had a schoolgirl inside his house. Okay? Being serious, we hiding damn fellas, so them fellas say, well, they ain't gonna say nothing about it. But I can guarantee you, if Harry know his name, or his face gonna be on TV and everybody gonna see that and stuff like that. Man, let me tell you something. Everyone know one another in this little country. You understand? But we hide these criminals from these girls them who sometimes they go to school on the bus driver put questions to them. We just hide the bus driver, we hide this one and that. So what happened? It's becoming now like a culture. We could do what we want to do and ain't nothing's gonna happen. Miss Kenny, you gotta get more stronger on this. We gotta now speak out and don't care who son it is. Say what it is.
But caller, it's going to take so much more than Candy. It's going to take so much more than Tada. It's going to take so much more than Women United. We have a systematic problem. I remember just recently where a bus driver was taken before the courts for putting his hand under the skirt of a school girl. And what was his punishment? $250 fine.
Thank you very much. You see that? He don't mind.
What?
He don't mind doing that. You see? So that's what it is. But instead of we need to go. They need to go in the House of Assembly pass some serious law for these fellas them with doing these stuff, man. It is bad. It is wrong. I don't care if that girl, the little girl, brazen or whatever. It still don't give you the right to do what you have to do. It's as simple as that. So don't say, oh, the little girl brazen and all this and she ain't talking school, but it still don't give you the right to molest this little girl, to hide this little girl for 7 days, 5 days, and then do what you have to do. Man, look here. Put the lock and key on this fella and let him stay in there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for calling. We have to take a break. Let's just take this break right now, because I ain't gotta lie. Doing these shows, it really does take a lot out of you. Emotionally. I can say something right now, and some of y'all might take offense, and I'm sorry if you do. I mean to be offensive, but I call them a spade a spade. You got enough women around here throwing their things around. That ain't hard to find.
Nope.
It ain't hard to get. Why you gonna pass all of them up if you so hard up to go fool with a child? An 80-year-old woman, an 85-year-old woman. I'm sorry, but this is beyond sick. And we have too many of these perpetrators walking around here with their chests high. And I don't care how high office you are or how low you are on the totem pole of society. I don't care. You all need to be held accountable for your behavior. All of you. I don't care if you in Parliament, and I'm not saying that because of the case before courts now, because like I said on the show before, there were other parliamentarians before this one who were accused of rape. I don't care what office you sit in. I don't care how much suit you're wearing. I don't care. If you are so depraved in your mind that you think you have a right to violate somebody else, you need to get locked up. They need to throw away the key. Because you clearly don't have no regard for human life. Because if you are going to do that to a child, you might as well say you murdered that child.
Yes, yes.
You ain't got a regard for human life. Anyway, let's take a break. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Life, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, Factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
And we're back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here, along with my guest, Canty Gibson from Foam. And I want to go ahead and read a couple of your comments from Facebook. This one says, Ms. Malcolm, the minister meet with them groups because of the upcoming conference. I believe after that conference, he will not check for them. That bill is a done deal. Okay, that's a comment coming in from Bursel. Raja says, blessings to you, Candy, and the others that serve our communities on the front lines dealing with these heavy matters. Perlene says, everything in our country is wrong. Well, no, Perlene, we do have some right stuff. It's just a lot is wrong that we need to collectively fix. She says, I can imagine what this lady goes through. Wow. We have a comment coming in from Dale. Dale says, change is coming. God bless Foam and others doing the work. This comment is coming in from Siobhan. Siobhan says, afternoon, ladies. Great guests and awesome hosts. Most of our leaders are visionless and clueless pertaining matters related to women and girls issues in this country, and our child protection laws are too lax. Until we, the general public, demand more and speak up and out, these crimes will continue to escalate. I am tired. All right, Lloyd says it takes all of us to fill out both sides of Rossin Square. I think it can take more than that, Lloyd. People tired of going to North and just protest, and what comes out of it at the end of the day. Siobhan says, until our laws take a zero-tolerance approach to this rape culture and punish these monsters, nothing will change. I will say again, castrate or put to death these criminals that rape children. I have no compassion for these monsters. Virgil says, well said, Michelle. And Virgil is also encouraging you, Candy, to keep up the good work. Yeah. Again, you would say, Michelle, you always doing these shows, but let's face it. Every so often we hear these horrific things. I mean, just overnight, we heard of a case of a parent having to go to the police because they claim that their 8-year-old daughter was sexually molested by a neighbor. So as long as we continue to have this problem, we can continue to talk about it. And if you don't hear it, my suggestion is maybe turn on the radio or go someplace else. But as long as we continue to see these stories again and again and again, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I really do have some hope as it relates to, and maybe I'm naive, but I really hope that once the House goes back in session in October, that under the new agenda that will be put before the House of Assembly, that we will see some amendments to the bill to speak specifically to these issues. Because I really do believe that we are long past the place where these issues really need special attention. And it's not that we are suggesting that the life of a woman or a child is any more value than the life of a man, or no, we're not saying that at all. All lives matter. Yes. We need to see crime eradicated for, crime against the person, not just women and children. And Sandra says, good luck with that, Michelle. It could take more than luck. But it's not to say that because all lives matter that we should not shed some kind of spotlight on this problem. We have a serious problem in this country. We have a serious problem in this country. And I say it time and time again, you cannot fix what you do not acknowledge. And we still have far too many people who think it's okay to sweep these problems under the rug. And yet we wonder why, in many instances, our society, our community is going to hell in a handbasket. We have to do more. Whether it's individually, if you see something that you feel a little suspicious, you hear something, call the police. Even if they got to come to find out it's nothing more than, at least you would have done your part. Too many people turning a blind eye, man. And this is why this continues to happen, because these predators know that too many people attitude is, man, I won't get involved in that. That ain't none of my business. It's everybody's business. And until we make it so, we'll be here 10 years from now having the same conversation. This is everybody's business. Candy, I'm going to give you an opportunity to give us your final thoughts on this. For some reason, we're not hearing you. And you're not muted, at least. So I'm not sure what's happening. Is the microphone open? Okay, I don't know what's going on because all of a sudden we can't hear you. We can't hear you, Candy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. Because it's showing that your microphone is not muted. So I don't know what changed. Wow. And you ain't missing press nothing on your computer to kill your audio. Wow. All right. Then I'm going to have to, just what you said on the show earlier, Raja is saying, have you call in? That's not a bad idea. So the number to call, Candy, would be 3260271 to give us your final thoughts on this, and we are quickly running out of time. So if you want to go ahead and call us on the phone, Candy, just to give us your final thoughts, 3260271 or 2. 3260271 or 2. In the meantime, while we wait for Candy to call in, let me go ahead and read one or two of your comments. This one is coming in from, let's see. Sandra says, we have serious problems in this country, and our government don't seem to care about our problems. They're talking about marijuana bill, and we have bigger issues. Davina says, don't stop talking about it. Enough is enough. We must protect our children. 3260271, Candy. We must protect our children at all costs. No amount of money can ever compensate for the lifetime of trauma our children will experience. Signed, a survivor. Wow. All right. I think we got Candy on the phone now. Yes? Okay. Candy, give us your final thoughts. We only have a minute left.
Yes, my thought is it takes a village to raise a child. We need to go back to the old way of doing things, and let's be our brothers and sisters keepers. So we see, and parents have to understand now too, that when persons come to us and telling us stuff about our children, we just can't have the parent, that person now, to have an attitude, that person, but they're looking out for our children now. Because remember in the olden days, you could have stolen Mary child, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
So let's go back there. It takes somebody to raise a child.
All right. Thank you, Candy, so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate your time. Thank you to Ternille Burrows, who had to leave us at the first half of the show, for being a part of the conversation today. I really do appreciate you both, ladies. And just, I know it's hard sometimes and you get weary, but just keep up the good work. Lord knows we need you and more to help us out with this vexing problem. All right, time is gone. We got to get out of here. Tomorrow's Wellness Wednesday, we're going to be dealing with matters pertaining to your health. Please tune in. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Take care and have a good afternoon.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests